Away.
Let's go. Good morning, Nigeria. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eye on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment, it is our pleasure to bring you trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with this news, where the federal government has firmly rejected allegations making the rounds on international platforms that terrorists in Nigeria are carrying out a systematic genocide against Nigerian Christians. Now, these claims gained traction after an American political commentator, Bill Maher, went viral with a video accusing Nigeria of religious prosecution against Christians. Listen to this video.
You are in a bubble, and again, I'm not a Christian, but they are systematically killing the Christians in Nigeria. They've killed over 100,000. They've killed over 100,000 since 2009. They've burned 18,000 churches. This is so much more. These are their Islamists, Boko Haram. This is so much more of a genocide attempt than what is going on in Gaza. They are literally attempting to wipe out the Christian population of an entire country. Where are the kids protesting?
Now, Nigeria has now responded to this. In a statement on Sunday, the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, called the claims false, divisive, and harmful. He stressed that terrorists have attacked Nigerians across faiths, Muslims, Christians, and others, and he warned against painting Nigeria's complex security challenges as a religious war. I'm going to take an excerpt from the statement by Mr. Mohammed Idris. He says, Nigeria is a multi-religious state with large populations of both Christians and Muslims. We're home to one of the largest Muslim communities in the world, alongside some of the biggest Pentecostal churches and the largest Anglican congregation globally. Christianity is neither endangered nor marginalized in Nigeria. It is doubtful that foreign interlopers into Nigeria's affairs are aware that the current heads of both the armed forces and the police force are Christians, a fact that underscores the inclusivity of our national leadership. For some context, he also shared some figures. He said that between May 2023 and February 2025, security forces reportedly neutralized more than 13,500 terrorists and rescued nearly 10,000 hostages nationwide. Authorities also captured the leadership of Ansaru, a local Al-Qaeda affiliate. This is very interesting. Let's take a look at social media. I'll take two tweets. Kano Blog says, the tragedy in Nigeria is not a war of Muslims versus Christians. It's a war of criminals versus innocent citizens. Both the mosque and the church have bled. Both the imam and the pastor have fallen. Why then do foreign voices insist on dividing us with their lies? Our unity is a weapon. Will we allow propaganda to break it? Pertinent question. This is Dr. Daniel Bwala. He says, the Western fake news media, probably sponsored by foreign interests, have begun their fake news propaganda campaign against Nigeria. The aim is to present Nigeria as unfriendly for business at a time when the nation is rapidly becoming a destination for global investors. Is it a coincidence that this is happening after a known politician visited the US? We would take the media fight back to them in their Western fake news media outlets. Team, this is very interesting. I'm going to come to you now. Aside from fighting terrorism on the ground, Nigeria is now forced to fight the global narratives that are shaping our reputation. This is very damaging, not just for division back home and for tensions already rising at home, for our reputation abroad. We saw the Vice President, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, address the United Nations General Assembly, came out and said, we stand with Palestine. Some people are saying that this news now by international media outlets is supposed to undermine us as a global voice for peace, that we have no right to talk about it, so, you know, sort of throwing stones when you live in a glass house.
The social media is one place where everybody says everything. But what this story tells me is that the government, Nigerian government, needs to engage the international community more with the things that are happening in Nigeria so that people like Bill Maher will not come reeling out statistics that he believes are true, you know, but are not actually what is happening in Nigeria. But I mean, this thing has affected everybody, no matter your religion, language, or creed. That's it.
And like Thomas said, no matter your religion, your language, at the end of the day, fake news should not be propagated. And I think that the federal government has to have conversations with them, because when this news comes out, it damages us. And when something is already out, it's difficult to change the narrative. So you need to be sure before you bring something like this out. So I really think that this is something that they should press and make sure that, you know, they get to the root of who started bringing up these lies.
It's funny when you see the American persons, so the West, you know, whenever they come about, you know, talking about Nigeria or Africa in general, you know, making spurious, irresponsible, and unashamedly, making comments about Nigeria when it comes to terrorism. We've actually sat here, we've reported several mosques being attacked, we've seen several Christians being attacked, we've seen people who do not even believe in any faith or believe in the existence of God, being attacked. So is it about Muslim Christians? We have different, Nigeria is a diverse, country with diverse persons, diverse ethnic groups. So we should not allow these people. US congressmen, said about the USAID, the funding of terrorism by this same America. And this man is now talking about Nigeria in this fashion. One thing is Nigeria is trying to unite. We are divided along ethnic lines, tribal lines. We are trying to unite, but these people, they are adding the oil of manipulations, and we should not allow it to stand.
At all.
Interesting. What's interesting to see is that these statistics were meant to divide. It's actually bringing Nigerians together. Many people are coming to say, it is actually terrorists versus innocent citizens. It's not a religious war. And so it had the opposite effect. Thank you so much, team.
You're welcome.
Moving on to some politics, where it is drama in the Labour Party, unfortunately, and this time it's gone viral. Edo-based activist Precious Oruche, better known as Mama P, was taken into police custody over the weekend after a heated confrontation with the factional national chairman of the Labour Party, Mr. Julius Abure. Now, this saga began at the Abuja airport, where Mama P confronted Abure while he was on the queue, accusing him of destroying the party and worsening the hardship that Nigerians are facing. Videos posted by the activist herself captured the moment. Have a look at this video.
I'm going to confront them. I will. They're the ones ruining our hope and life in this country.
This is not Julius Abure. Please maintain a single line. You are the ones who is frustrating Nigerians. How come? In case nobody has told you, you are the one frustrating Nigeria. Are you not Julius Abure? So what are you not doing with the Labour Party?
Now, things escalated upon her arrival in Benin City. Mama P claims that she was attacked by suspected thugs that were loyal to Abure, and she was later detained at the Edo State Police headquarters, a move that a lot of online activists quickly condemned, calling her a victim of political violence who'd been wrongly turned into a criminal suspect. But luckily, she has since been released. But the question now is this sort of activism viable, feasible, or effective? Let's take a look at what you have to say. Ayomiku says, that is not free speech. That is tantamount to assault and battery. We should never be as indecorous, lousy, rude, or arrogant. The world will reject us if we collectively adopt such a bad habit and manners. It is merely politics. People will come and go. And by the way, I am ready for war with anyone or any group over this. The National Orientation Agency has a lot of work to do, without which a social crisis indeed looms. Interesting. Smart Tech says, while it's understandable to feel frustrated with politicians, would widespread public action against them, similar to what Mama P did, lead to constructive change or potentially destabilize the political system? Team, I'm going to direct this to you. This social media user just asked a very pertinent question. This style of activism, it's very firebrand, it is very inflammatory, but is it actually effective? Does it do much in terms of dialogue or any sort of change? And do you think he was well within his rights to, lock her up briefly to say, you cannot do that to me in a public place?
Yeah, it's actually, that woman is bold. She's really bold to have done what she did. Passion drives things like this, and now that we have social media also drives things like this, because she posted that video herself, isn't it? Okay, and she got to Benin and she was attacked and so on. Don't do that next time. You can you have a social media platform, use it. Or you can have an appointment with a person and tell the person straight on, not at the airport, not in public places like that.
I say, Mama P, this lady has a lot of mind. And it just reminds me of there is freedom of speech, but is there freedom after speech? That's what this reminds me of. But I tell you something, I think that when activism came to Nigeria, they just took it overboard. We see activists, in other places, and it's not like this in Nigeria. It seems like they mix it with insult, with hatred, with everything. I'm not a... I'm not a fan of what she did. I believe in activism, but I just feel like it should be done the right way. I'm not supporting Abure here, but I just believe that even when you want to criticize somebody, please do it the right way, because it could have been worse than this.
No, people who you know, were into activism back in the day, Ganifawa Emi, Adams Oshiomhole, we can begin to name names. These are people who are intellectual and they do things the right way they should do it. Not what we see on social media. Some people just do it for content. Imagine just walking up to someone and accusing the person of you know, destroying a party or whatever. Come on, is this right? Is fighting is right? Why don't you go to court and tell the judge that you are not judging right and all of that? It's an assault, and it was okay that they arrested her. It's okay. I think she's learned a lesson.
Absolutely. I think there's a thin line between activism and content creation. But let's move on.
And Olamide, it's like we mix it oftentimes.
Absolutely. Lines are blurred indeed, Ria. Moving on now, still in some politics, where the former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi is in the spotlight again, and this time it's because of his congratulatory message to the new Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja. Now, in his goodwill post, Peter Obi referred to the monarch as my elder brother, which he saw as an affectionate phrase, but critics saw it as disrespect to Yoruba traditional institutions. Voices like Reno Omokri and Lere Olayinka called it cultural insensitivity and even political arrogance, arguing that such a revered monarch deserves the full weight of traditional respect, especially from Peter Obi. Well, Peter Obi has since clarified, saying that his words were never meant as a slight. He's explained that he often uses the phrase for people that he deeply respects, including people like the Obi of Onisha in the East. But the question remains that in a country as diverse as Nigeria, should we be more careful with cultural protocol, or should his intent have mattered more than the language that he used? Let's take a look at what you had to say. Adoyi says, your message was perfectly clear and rooted in respect. And frankly, you shouldn't have even dignified these trolls with a response. You need to understand that their outrage is a paid performance. Their only currency is hatred, and they will twist any goodwill into a weapon. By replying, you're giving their fabricated agenda a legitimacy it does not deserve. I'll take another tweet. Biodun Adeyanju says, Peter Obi lacks cultural competence. First, in Yoruba, an Oba can no longer be addressed as my brother. Not even Obasanjo or President Tinubu will say that. The both of you are not blood or traditionally related. Apart from that, he's much older in age and now in status. Learning protocols in writing will help Peter Obi's handlers. According to the Yoruba mythology, Kabio Kosi is now a deity in a human body. He speaks with a tone of finality. Well, my brothers and my sisters, what do you make of this?
How dare you say my brother?
Address me better, Olamide.
Olamide, how dare you address me as your brother? You see, our cultures are diverse, our languages are diverse, the way we think in Nigeria is diverse, and it is this diversity that makes Nigeria a wonderful country to live in. He had made a mistake, and I'm happy that he immediately tried to explain. Next time, sir, you have to look for the right courtesies before you start talking to a monarch or somebody in any traditional institution, just in case another person is crowned the king of one nation.
And my only happiness is that he didn't try to defend it, because there would have been a big problem for me, because of course it was an oversight. I'm sure that he didn't mean it that way, but I think that his handler should have known better. You know, that's a king. You cannot address him as your brother, even though he's your brother. You know, I also learned that even if, like Ibrahim, let me say Ibrahim right here, that I call Ibrahim, is now a king. Of course, I will not call him Ibrahim. Not because Ibrahim is like my brother and friend. I will have to call him, you know, that name. So it's just rules and tradition that should be followed. I'm glad that you did not argue. I hope your followers are not trying to argue as well.
And Ria, thank you. I hope you're already pushing me, you're already positioning me for a position of a king.
Maybe.
Thank you so much. but then I do not think we should read politics into everything. If it was said by another person other than Obi, maybe Reno Omokri and Lere Olayinka wouldn't have attacked the person. Imagine Dangote saying that, yeah, Olubadan, my brother. They will just see it as normal. But because it is Peter Obi, of course, they have to make a mountain out of a molehill. I want to believe that he didn't say that out of disrespect. Yes. I want to believe that. But now that he also came back to say, no, this is what I meant, that is even more dignifying. So please don't let us, at least he didn't say my younger brother. He didn't say my elder brother. It's more respect. So please, come on.
Absolutely. I think it's a great thing to be able to change your mind and retract when presented with new information. Let's move on. It has been 1 year since the brutal murder of 21-year-old Christiana Idowu. a 300-level student of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. But her grieving family says that justice still feels very far away. A year later, Christiana's father, Idowu Oluwafemi, is appealing to Nigerians for help. In a viral video, he said that communication on her case has gone quiet, and his family has now been left in the dark about whether justice will ever be served for his daughter. Listen to what he had to say.
Who was murdered by a friend. It's getting to a year now, and the boy was arrested in the police custody. I've not heard anything concerning the case. My daughter, she's all that brilliant, and I want you Nigerians to come to my aid.
Now, Christiana was abducted in August 2024 while she was heading from her home in Ikorodu to Lagos for her industrial training, Lagos Island. Investigations later led to the arrest of 23-year-old Ayomide Adeleye, a philosophy student who chillingly confessed to luring her under the guise of fixing her phone, and he then strangled her and even extorted money from her mother. This is very sad. May her soul rest in perfect peace. Let's take a look at social media. Hertford Chamber says, justice delayed is justice denied. It is deeply troubling that 1 year after Christiana Idowu's tragic death, the case remains stalled. The rule of law demands timely prosecution to ensure accountability and restore public confidence in our justice system. And Oluwafemi says, I don't know why justice is being delayed in a case that the murderer openly confessed. What other evidence do they need to do the needful? This is shameful, and it affirms the notion of many about our justice system. Earlier on this morning, team, I'm coming to you now. We took the story about that the mother of that, the mother who was killed by her business partner. This is a trend that we're seeing. You know, open confessions, open murders, and no justice. And Benjamin Franklin once said that until those affected by injustice are just as outraged as those who are unaffected, justice will never be served.
It just goes to show how the wheels of justice in Nigeria grinds. They don't move, they grind very slowly. So I am one of those that says there should be reforms in the judicial system in Nigeria. It has to be faster.
It has to be faster, because when people take power into their hands, we castigate them and tell them what they're doing is bad. Of course, I'm not supporting that. But then people should not lose hope in this system. We should believe in the system. After 1 year, this person has confessed that he did it. Let's think about the families that have not gotten justice, and let's do better, please.
Don't do, we are giving others, it serves as a fillip for others to perpetrate the same crime, because they'll feel, yeah, I'll go to jail and what's going to happen? No justice will catch up with me. Please, whatever needs to be done, we need to do it as soon as possible so that justice is done and then seen to have been done.
Very interesting.